So welcome everybody and happy Thursday. We've almost made it to the weekend. Tonight you are joining us for another Authors Conversations or Stories of a Colorful World's Authors Conversations. I am Vanessa Mitchell, along with Kanika Mobley, and together we are not only your co-hosts, but we are also the co-founders of Stories of a Colorful World. So if you're a newbie to our conversations, welcome back. Thank you for coming back to us. Thank you for coming to us and thank you for joining us this evening. But if you're not new to Stories of a Colorful World, thank you and welcome back. But for those that are new to us and what we do, we are an online children's bookstore, and we focus on carrying children's books that feature BIPOC characters, so Black, Indigenous, people of color, by authors from those same diverse groups. And so we know representation matters, having images that mirror the world that we live in and the diversity in which we live in, but also those written by the perspectives of those from those diverse groups is super important. And so tonight we are super excited to welcome with us for a conversation, C. Ariane Durden. And Ariane is the author of Becoming a Superhero. So welcome, Ariane.
Welcome.
Hi.
Yes, and thank you for spending your evening with us tonight and accepting our invitation. We're excited to talk about your book and talk about your experiences. So we won't hesitate, we'll just jump right in. So I'll turn it to you and just kind of let you introduce yourself and tell us a little about who you are.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm award-winning author C. Ariane Durden of Becoming a Superhero. As you see behind me, I'm currently sitting in Peach City as we speak. With this one, I recently received 2 awards for my book, Distinguished Favorite for Children's Inspirational and Motivational, as well as I won in the category of Children's Diet and Nutrition.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you. They're independent press awards from New York City. So it was a competition judged from not just in the US, but from around the world. So.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. So let's take it, before we start talking about becoming a superhero, let's think about, like, as you were growing up, like, were you the type of person who, like, you knew that you wanted to be a writer, or you fell in love with, you know, books and writing? What was your childhood like?
Actually, a mixture of both. When I was growing up, of course, in the 90s, early 2000s, we used to participate throughout the summer reading programs the library have. Like down here in South, you could either read so many books throughout the summer. You could either get your own personal pan pizza growing up from Pizza Hut. I remember that. Or you can get a trip to Six Flags or Whitewater. So that's what I remember most. And then I also had a passion as well for writing. That's why I would write little stories for class. And then in middle school, I wrote a story about a true life competition I had, a cheerleading competition I had about perseverance and overcoming obstacles, and it got published in the school paper. So it's between that elementary and early middle school age, I've always had that passion, especially with the background in the performing and visual arts.
Nice. Do you still have that piece that you wrote in middle school?
It was actually on the refrigerator not that long ago. It's packed up now, but I still have it.
I love it.
That's your inspiration.
Thank you.
Is that your inspiration as you think about writing books?
Yes, I actually like to write books that's about as much as real life as possible, nonfiction as much as possible, and also just stories just about perseverance. You know, we all, whether it's real life or not, we all could use something in terms of how to overcome obstacles in general.
Absolutely.
Very cool. So are you a full-time author now?
Full-time author now.
Full-time author now.
Wow, congratulations.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how did you get, okay, so we started from, you know, writing, enjoying reading. How did we get to today of becoming an author?
become, how I get there now, it's just always just having that passion, and just, even though when high school came along, I ventured towards cheerleading and tumbling, so that's where a lot of my time went. And of course academics remained first throughout all of that, and then college. So it's like I had that passion that sort of derailed to focus more to where I am now, but it's always been there. It's always been there. The writing has always been there.
Nice. And so what inspired you to write Becoming a Superhero?
That's the good part. What inspired me was while I was in Dr. Cartwright's class. She graduated from Howard in DC. With that, the passion was, I don't know if you remember First Lady Michelle Obama's Let's Move initiative. Well, with that one, that was to encourage kids to eat healthy fruits and vegetables. And what shocked me is while I was in her class, Dr. Cartwright's class, fall 2014, the backlash First Lady Michelle Obama received. I don't know if you remember that. It was just kids was throwing their trays away saying, I don't want to eat fruits and vegetables. I don't care about that. And so I said, okay, something needs to be done about this. Something truly needs to be done, because you never know what somebody is going through at home, and those school meals could actually be what they're only eating. So I said, let me see what's going on with this. And then, you know, Black Panther was filmed here in Atlanta. So I said, and then she had her memoir, Becoming. So I said, let me see what's hot. These are what's currently going on hot in the past no more than 5 years, you know. And so I said, let me see, how can I bring the two together? So I said, Becoming, First Lady Obama, her memoir, her Let's Move initiative. Then I said superheroes. And then she had a background with her nutrition from the Let's Move initiative. So I said, okay, I got a background in nutrition. Although I'm not a registered dietitian yet, I could still research with the government work, and I could have Dr. Cartwright to double check behind me, who is a registered dietitian. So that's how I got the idea of becoming a superhero. So that's how it came about.
I love that. So tell us a little bit about the book.
Without giving it away, as you see behind me, you see Sasha is behind me in the pink superhero suit as well on the billboard. Let me scoot this way. You see Sasha and Eva are racing. As you see in the bottom right-hand corner, my side, maybe left, you will see I made an ode to my city of Atlanta, the Ferris wheel we have downtown, as well as some of the West End. You see it behind me with the purple with the steeple up, as well as a few other buildings downtown. So with that, they are racing through Peach City, of course, based off Atlanta, and it encouraged people the kids to eat healthy. What you eat will be your superpowers. Nice. So that would be the actual benefit of it. So bananas will give you energy. Blueberries is good for your heart. Carrots help with your eyes. So without giving too much, you'll see whoever finds the secret recipe first becomes the hero.
All lessons we still need to know.
Absolutely.
Yes, and it's not just a children's book. Neither we all, adults, kids, grandparents, we all need to make healthy decisions. So it's very important.
Yeah.
I was about to say, like, you know, we can always, you know, as like educators or parents, we're always looking for like, what is the protagonist? You know, what is that lead character going to teach us? But then also thinking about it, just like you said, like we all need to learn that lesson. So what would you say we can learn from Eva, you know, for those of us who like the cheese pizza and the chocolate chip cookies? Like what can we learn from her story too to help us live healthier lifestyles?
Well, what we can learn from Eva, as she is the bad person in the book, Eva is short for evil. What we can actually learn from her is to not be mean towards others in this book. Learn not to be a big bully in the book. And even though we may have our cheat days, we may have our days to have a slice of pizza, we may have our day of cookie, we may have our day of ice cream, is to do so in moderation. So, you know, at the end of the day, I understand I was once a kid, you were once kids as well. We're going to have our moments. We're going to have our days where our cookies, our cupcakes, our ice cream. It's okay to do so, but do so in moderation. Don't let that cupcake be your meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, evening snack. So it's okay to have your cheat days, but just do so in moderation.
So how did you develop the story? Like, what were the elements to, sitting down, pen and paper, how did you start and get the process going?
Well, initially, believe it or not, this book was initially supposed to be a ballerina. That's what a lot of people do not know, that was like in the early pre-stages. It was initially supposed to be like a ballerina competing, but the elements of the story is I took growing up, I took like the 5 W's, the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Those were the elements that I took. And like I said, I used those elements and I took what was hot at the moment when I first started, like around December 19, January 2020, to do the concept of my book. So I took those elements and I put them together to get my concept for my book.
Oh.
Nice. And so, what do you want, or actually, what makes, because I know Sasha, throughout, especially the beginning of the book, she was going around asking different people, like, what makes a superhero super? And so, what does make a superhero super?
What makes a superhero super is one who is kind, one, like you said, June, your month is kind, someone who is kind, someone who do what's right, someone who listens to their parents, teachers, and their peers, someone who is smart, someone who does the right thing, someone who is strong, someone who eats healthy, someone who exercises. So that's what makes a superhero strong, makes you a superhero, and makes you strong as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as you were writing the book, maybe what were did you encounter any challenges as you were writing it? Wrote like writer's block, or did you struggle in any way in coming up with the concepts? Because we also always like to ask the authors, what advice they have for future authors or those that have an idea.
Yes, oftentimes I did have writer's block because it was like I said, I'm a visual person. So it's like when you're writing the book, it's like, okay, I need to have an image of what she looks like. Like for me, I have to be able to see the two, try to see 2 and 2 together as best as I could. So at times, while we was working, my illustrators working on illustrations, it was like, okay, I have an idea, he has an idea, but it's like, okay, I'll go back and change it. Cause I say, hey, this sounds better this way. This sounds better this way. So I did have writer's block at time, but I eventually overcame them, and that's how I have my book.
Awesome.
And the illustrator, did you already partner with them? Did you know who it was going to be before the book fully came to fruition, or the story fully came out? Or did you have to source the illustrator?
I actually had to get help with finding an illustrator. As you saw in my book, I was enrolled with the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrator. And initially I went to an event. I unfortunately arrived there late due to undisclosed reasons. And I ran into the person who was over the illustrators, and she said I could do this. And then a few weeks later, she said no longer I couldn't do it due to undisclosed reasons for her. But she said, I know this one person who could do it for you. And it ended up being him. So that's how I ended up meeting my illustrator.
That's awesome. See, you weren't late. You were right on time.
Yes, ma'am.
Right on time. You were supposed to be there.
I love it. What do you want? What would you want readers to take away from this story?
I would want my readers to take away from my story is that no matter what you go through, whether it's a sticky situation, that's in my book, whether it's a sticky situation or anything like that, any obstacles that you can overcome them. So for this book, it's not just about nutrition or colors, it's about overcoming obstacles. So even though Sasha may not be real, it's about overcoming whatever obstacles that you go through in life. And eating healthy as well.
And does Sasha mirror any part of your life? Like the character herself, or?
Yes, she does mirror me. A lot of people don't realize that, I have my hair in twists. Of course, she has her hair in twists as well. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a huge fruit and vegetable lover. I love apples. My favorites are apples and peaches. I love salads. It don't matter what kind of dressing it is, as long as I have a good salad, I'm good. And of course, as you see, I was drinking water. I'm a huge water lover. And of course I wear glasses at times. I have glasses as well, to help me be able to see far away. And like I said, I'm just a huge person on eating healthy and doing what's right and exercising.
Awesome. Was that something that went into, right? Because you could have gone like anyway in creating this book, like you said, you started off with like a ballerina, but then what transpired to really make it into like Sasha being like this fierce superhero?
Initially that was like when I was in the early stages. Like I said, in December, January. Of course, my birthday's in January. So it was like around the birthday, I said, oh, I want a pretty ballerina. But then I said, if I were to sell this book to boys, I would have to try to somehow include boys as well, because I said if this book were to blow up and make in the school system, I would want boys to feel included as well. So that's why I said, let me go along the superhero line. Let me rethink this and look at what's hot right now. Because you got to think about not only Black Panther was here in Atlanta, you had to think about the Avengers. You have to think about all of that between this 2016-2020 time frame. So that's what geared me to go in towards the superhero range.
Right. I love that. And also thinking about, sometimes people think because the, main character is one gender or another, that it's not for everybody and it's not
right
of everybody.
And actually, like a lot of people don't realize is that even though this is a Black girl in the book, it's a multicultural book. Uh-oh, can y'all see that? Uh-oh. Whoops. Uh-oh, probably because of my background. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Let's see if I could take this off for a second. There we go. Y'all see my multicultural book?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not just a Black girl, it's multicultural as well. I made sure that that was included.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what does diverse representation mean, to you, especially in children's books? And so why
Diverse,
thought to have the multicultural?
yes, diverse representation means everything to me. With everything that we have going on in society right now, that's just very, very important to show that, hey, in children's book, we can all still get along and everybody can still be superheroes as long as you do what's right. That's eating your fruits and vegetables, that's exercising, that's being kind, that's being nice. So that's why I wanted to show.
Right. And it impacts all of us, all children,
Right.
all shades,
all age groups,
all
all shades. Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. Who would you say that this kind of like going into in that same vein, like who is this book for?
This book is for anybody, whether you're an adult or child, superheroes at heart. That is for who my book is for. So it's not just minority, it's for anybody. Anybody.
Yeah. So I'm going to take you back to the journey of writing the book and, determining publishing and the route you took for publishing, and how was that experience in getting your book out to the masses?
For me, with the journey, I self-published through Amazon. When I wrote my book, I was trying to find different companies around Atlanta and Metro Atlanta, and I saw that some people would reach back to me, some people would not, and then I saw like some people the prices were out of my price range. So I said, let me just take my best bet and just self-publish and do as best as I can. So that's the route I took.
And how's the reaction been to the book? We know that you got the awards, so
yes.
we know there has been positive feedback, but even from kids, what is their reaction been to Sasha?
So far, when I've been reading my Amazon reviews, and not everybody has posted their reviews on Amazon, but with the 24 reviews that I have, everybody has loved it. The impact has been amazing. They said, because of your book, my child eats more fruits and vegetables, and kids would like to say, hey, Mom, I want to try this. I want to try this and make this kind of smoothie and see, how I feel, what powers I get. So that's the feedback that I've been getting. I have a lot of friends who are in the medical field, relatives that's in the medical field as well. Some are nurses, some are still active, some are retired. Some of them are dentists and physical therapists, and they're saying this is very, very good for their clients.
I think that's awesome because it also starts young, right? Like thinking about
Right.
lifestyle.
Right. And I
from a
think
young
it's very,
age.
very good. Yeah, I think it's very, very good to try to get kids between that 5, no more than 8 age group, which is book is geared towards 5 to 10 years old, because around that time, that's when kids start making up their eating patterns for when they become adults. So if you can still try to reach them at the young period, that'll be good. That'll be very, very good.
Absolutely. I love that you included a superhero's creed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And so what was kind of like the inspiration of like wanting to make sure that you have that included in the book as well?
Well, for that one, I wanted to serve as like an affirmation for the kids. I'm flipping to it right now in my book. I wanted it to serve as an affirmation with them, because as you notice in my book, I have superheroes eat the rainbow at the beginning, and at the end I end with super kids eat the rainbow. So it's just that affirmation of basically stating everything I said in my book, but as a creed, as an affirmation for them. A superhero eats the rainbow. A superhero drinks lots of milk and water. A superhero exercises and gets moving. A superhero does good and help others, and a superhero never gives up. I am a superhero. So that's why I wanted to basically re-educate or rephrase it, that with everything that happened in my book, into a creed. So that's what I wanted for them.
Absolutely. I can definitely see that being a powerful tool for like parents in really helping kids kind of like shape those healthy choices and
Right.
being inspired by this book.
And
Yes,
those
ma'am.
affirmations and those positive messages, right? To repeat them, they become ingrained in you, right? And you start
Right.
to move in that direction. So
Yes, ma'am.
obviously affirmations are great for adults, but certainly as children, starting out that way. So I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
So does Sasha have a sequel? Does Sasha have a next adventure?
Actually, my goal was to actually turn becoming a superhero into a series. So it's not just going to be Sasha. I plan on having every child to have their own cover and their own story. So whether you're Black, a Black boy, a Caucasian boy or girl, Hispanic boy or girl, Asian boy or girl, my goal is to have each child to have their own cover. Now I can break off Sasha to have her own series outside of that, but my goal is to become the superhero into a series, and then with intentions to breaking her off and have her own series.
I love the body and the books embody that idea, embodies the idea of diversity, right? Because it's not just us. I mean, we don't just populate this world. There's so many, varieties of children out there, and allowing them all to see themselves in the book.
Right.
I love that idea.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Do you anticipate continue with the same theme of like healthy eat food choices and things like that, or do you anticipate kind of expanding to other concepts as well?
For right now, I would stick with this concept, and then I could branch off into other topics as well.
Nice.
So I will stick along those guidelines, and then I'll branch off probably in the future, maybe about 5 years from now, 2 or 3 years from now. But as long as people have a passion for it and love what I'm doing, and as long as it's not, milking it dry, then I would stick along with that for right now.
Nice.
And we know authors always have to consider, like, do they do the printed version, ebooks? Did you have thoughts about like which direction to go through, which one might have the bigger impact or equal impact?
For me, I have all three. I have softback, ebook, and I recently got my hardback in the other day. And so I'll be putting up hardback pretty soon. For me, with everything being virtual, I know kids will probably be tired of looking at the computer. So even though I have ebook available, I would love for them to have a softback.
Nice.
Softback to physically touch. And again, like I said, I'll put my hardback up in the future. So they can physically, you know, because when you're in elementary school, you like to physically look at stuff, touch things. So that'll be best for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I always remember my little library of books. You know, you're always
Yes.
accustomed to having the hard copy of the books and being able to flip
Right.
through the pages, and yeah.
Absolutely. And like you said, I'm sure after this whole year, kids are going to be sick of looking at books, you know, digitally and
Right.
wanting to get back to that touch and feel of a book.
Right. Right.
So you touched on it a little before, but like you said, our theme for the month of June is kindness. And so what's a word or a quote or a phrase that kindness evokes for you?
My phrase of kindness, as I quote, is the late great Dr. Maya Angelou, who came to UGA when I was there. I enjoyed that so much. But I quote Dr. Maya Angelou's phrase is, "My wish for you is that you continue to be who you are to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness."
And it's those small acts of kindness in everything that we do.
Yes,
And the
ma'am.
world could use a little bit more kindness.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I don't know. So in your whole experience throughout this journey with the awards and everything, I mean, was there anything surprising to you about the idea of being an author or the experience of being an author?
Honestly, I think the surprising thing for me throughout all of this is that the positive feedback I've been getting and the awards that I won. And the reason why I say I am shocked by that is because, you know, First Lady Obama received so much negative feedback.
Mhm.
And it's like I'm basing my book about her initiative. And it's like it got me in shock. It's like, wow, people actually like what I'm doing. And I actually won awards for something like this. So that's the part that gets me. It's like, wow, you know, somebody who got something so negative and I'm basing my book off of what they're doing and it gets positive feedback. So I think that's the shocking part for me.
Well, again, it's how you know that this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. And look at all the ways that, you know, in this way that, you know, Michelle Obama inspired you. And I'm sure she might not even know, you know, the impact that she's had in the many different ways and people who she's impacted, you know. Have you tried to reach out to her to let her know about your book?
Actually, I have not. But ironically, Dr. Cartwright, she did work with First Lady Obama in the White House.
Okay.
Like during her earlier years, like when they first got there to the White House with the Let's Move initiative. So I haven't reached out to her yet, but I would definitely try. And she also has mochi and waffles too on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, we're gonna have to blast something out. Get Michelle Obama's attention and let her know about Super Sasha.
All right, that sounds good. Sounds good.
Absolutely. So as you know, Michelle Obama inspired you. What would you say to other aspiring authors, or what would your advice be to other aspiring authors?
My advice to other aspiring authors would be to, one, be passionate about what you're doing. That's very, very huge. Be passionate about it, because if you're not passionate about it, it will not show in your work. But if you are passionate about it, everything will flow like that. Even though you may have writer's block, if you're passionate about it, can't nothing take away that passion, not even writer's block. So not only have your passion, but you also want to sleep at night. You want to, when you're sleeping, you want to dream about it. You want to think about it. Not stress yourself out, but you want to just think about it in your dreams. because when you dream it and you're passionate about it, it'll come out on paper. It'll show on paper. And then too, it doesn't hurt to take advice from, other writers, whether a family member or a friend or a colleague. It doesn't hurt to do that. And the best thing I could say is just join different social media groups that's out there. And that's my advice, and just keep on going after your dreams.
I love that.
There's a market for these books, so we need them. We need folks to keep them coming too. So that's good.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I think what is something that you kind of like anticipate or are looking forward to in like continuing this journey?
Something that I'm looking forward to is just, as long as people are excited about my book, just continue to inspire them to make healthy choices, encourage them to just overcome obstacles. And that's what I just look forward to, just especially giving kids something positive to look at, especially kids of color as well, to look at something positive. Because, believe it or not, growing up 20, 25 years ago in the 90s, early 2000s, none of this, we really did not have this at all. Like what we're seeing now with children's books and a lot of children's books of colors on the front cover, we did not have this. So that's my goal, is to continue telling stories, and of course making sure I have a minority present in the book, whether it's the cover or inside, to be present.
Yeah, definitely those images matter, and normalizing the images, right? So this is not, we should no longer be in the African American section, right? We are books. We are children's books, and children's books for all. So it allows for us to see ourselves in the books, but for others to see us and to see the diversity as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah, those.
Then we could be superheroes.
Absolutely. I had some fruit today. I had some watermelon. Okay, I'm on my journey to being a superhero.
I love it. So it has been so great, Ariane, to have you on. So how can people continue to learn more about Super Sasha and to follow you, and also to get your books?
A way you can follow me is follow me on social media. That's Facebook and Instagram at Super Sasha Jones. My website is supersashajones.com, and you can purchase my book on Amazon. If you're out of state, and if you're locally in the Metro Atlanta area, you can purchase it at a Black-owned bookstore called Nubian Bookstore in Morrow, Georgia. Awesome. That's in Clayton County, by the way.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So we want to thank you again for joining us today. We want to make sure that everyone is going to get Becoming a Superhero. We are also carrying it in our bookshop collection. So make sure you find it and add it to your home, so you can be like Super Sasha Jones, eating your rainbow, and not like Eva, only sometimes with the pizza and the chocolate chips.
Okay.
But thank you again. And we want to definitely thank everybody who came out to the Juneteenth parade and festival. It was rainy on Saturday and people still showed up. So we are eternally grateful for everyone who came. So many great books, made it into the homes of loving families, which we always love. So thank you again. Stay tuned for more events and where we'll be next. But you can find us at our website, www.storiesofacolorfulworld.com. If you are not signed on to our newsletter, go on to our website, sign up for our newsletter to hear about great books like Becoming a Superhero. Our picks of the month, it's almost the end of June, so we'll be releasing a new theme in July. Also, come see our selection shop our categories, come to our website, www, again, storiesofacolourfulworld.com. And we'll see you again next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ariane.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye.